Hi there. Welcome to Steele Events. You know why I did that?
Hi there.
You know why I did that?
Why?
I saw Peter Gabriel on the weekend.
Oh, okay.
And hi there is how he starts.
Really?
Big time. Yeah.
Good show?
Oh, so good. I saw 5440 on Friday night and then Peter Gabriel on Saturday night. I don't even know myself, guys. I don't even know who I am.
You know what else was a good show, apparently, was our show last week when we had Dr. Bonnie Henry on, because we had lots of people reaching out going, yeah, what did she say? Oh, that was interesting. We had this comment from Erin, a viewer, saying, thank you for having her on. We're forever grateful for her gentle guidance during the pandemic. And I will say this.
Yeah.
Also had a bunch of trolls reaching out like, she's, blah, 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 and you're all blah, 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 and I'm like, you're crazy.
Thanks for the free rent. Free rent. The people that are coming at you,
Did you understand the blah, blah, blah?
I did. I did. I speak Linda fluently, actually.
The other thing you saw,
Mr. Dressup, I watched
which we talked about last week when we had Mr. Dressup's daughter on.
Amazon Prime, Linda, when you watch it, and you will, and when you watch it, I'm telling you, it was so much more emotional than I had anticipated.
Nice.
The footage is unbelievable. I'm so proud of the CBC for taking us on the journey of how these great programs came into existence, and then it takes, the nostalgia, but also the sad turn of him saying goodbye. It was just like, you got to watch it, Amazon Prime.
All the bad news, so I was like, what have I not seen yet? I went to Disney Plus and I watched, is it called Elements, the cartoon?
Yeah.
It was so good. So good. Anyway, little tip there.
Okay.
We have a viewer email.
Yeah, let's go.
We had a fellow reach out to us who's watching from Ontario. He said, well done, you two. Someone should syndicate your show across the country. I live in Ontario. I watch you both weekly. Entertaining, informative, and common sense TV. Thank you so much for watching, Peter.
Thanks, Peter. And also just one quick shout out to Mike, who I met in the parking lot of London Drugs, who backed into a spot that said no backing in. I'm like, you rebel. And we joked on the way up the elevator. And as we're getting out of the elevator, he goes, my wife and I love your show. And I'm like, hi, Mike.
Thank you.
So there you go. All right, what's coming up on the program today?
Okay. Well, we have had so much bad news around 2 steps back with the LGBTQ intolerance. We saw the Soji protests over the summer, right, which were just like bananas, with people yelling and screaming and fighting and pushing and shoving. We have a Surrey teacher named Annie Ohana coming on the show.
She's amazing.
And she is amazing. She is up for an award as the best teacher in the world.
Yeah.
And as a queer educator, she's had all kinds of hatred and vitriol. She also has family in Israel, so we're going to talk about that.
We're going to talk about all of that. Plus, we're going to lighten it up with somebody who has no big deal. The Order of Canada. He is the one and only Jim Burns.
Who is awesome. And if you're saying, who is Jim Burns? Well, let him tell you who he is.
Well, Jim Burns is a singer, a songwriter, a musician, an actor. A flawed individual, just trying to find his way home.
He's a storyteller, he's handsome, he's talented.
Home right here.
We got a whole bunch more with Jim Burns.
Okay, you ready? Here we go. It's time for
Okay, well, I mean, the elephant in the room, we have to talk about Israel. It's just been crazy. So many people have died. And let's not say Israeli, Palestinian, whatever. From my point of view, if you're a civilian who has nothing to do with the politics or the war or whatever, and you are being bombed or raped or kidnapped, that is not okay. I have been so sad in the last week. I've felt depressed. That's why I was watching Disney to try to get my head out of it. But we have a Vancouver man who is one of the victims. His name is Ben Mizrahi. Yep. We have Canadians being held hostage.
We do. And we're checking in on our Jewish friends. But, you know, my bestie, my son's godmother, is a very proud Jewish woman, mother of 3, and she's worried about her kids. You know, walking around this world, like, let's be tolerant and kind to one another here in Canada, and celebrate our freedoms and support those who are feeling the next level of terror here. And the unease that is coming with what we saw on Saturday. We'll talk it through. We'll talk it through with Annie Ohana, because she's got family actually there, and then we'll get into it a little bit further. But suffice to say, for me, and I loved Ed Sheeran actually posted a thing on his social media, on his Instagram, that said, if you are picking sides politically, then the propaganda is working on you.
And you mentioned intolerance. Can we just say the big story this week for me was the fact that the NHL went way back after Hockey is for Everyone. Pride tape, they're now banning the colored pride tape.
Makes me crazy.
This is so BS. What was our friend Brian Burke saying about it?
Well, Brian Burke, obviously a very outspoken, proud father of a gay son who has made a point of saying his hopes that the NHL reconsiders this. But here is one of the quotes that I think is most poignant of all of what Brian Burke put up there. I think we have... I think we have one more. Derek, if you wouldn't mind, there's one up there that says Brian Burke.
I think he had it up already there. There you go.
Oh, okay. It doesn't matter. There is one more concise note about it, but suffice to say that this is something that Brian Burke is saying is doing a disservice to the players who are playing in the league and to the viewers and the fans who see themselves on the ice with their heroes when they see the pride tape, when they're celebrated on the ice. And this is telling people they're not welcome.
And I know the fellow in Edmonton who's a prof at MacEwan University who actually is a co-founder of Pride Tape.
Right.
He's going to join us a little bit later to tell us how he feels about it. But Theo Fleury, the former Calgary Flames and whatever else he played for, he's like a little nutty these days. This is what he had to say about the controversy. Oh, how long before all straight people are banned? It was like, Theo Fleury needs to take Ativan or something. He needs to take a chill pill because he's become someone I don't recognize
It makes
anymore.
I agree with you on that one. The fact that he's someone I don't recognize, because
Yeah.
I have covered that man and I have interviewed him, and there was a time where he was feeling like he could bring people together and understanding the trauma that he had suffered at the hands of his coach, and it's tragic
Right.
that
And
the
if
trauma has
he
turned into this now.
expects people to have understanding and tolerance of his situation, how he can push back. Anyway, we're going to talk more about that also. Let's talk about healthcare.
Big BC health deal. First in on the 1.2 billion with a B.
This is
federal
money
deal.
that's going to go to improve the nurse-patient ratio, mental health for youth. Yay for that.
We're going to need it.
And COVID, hello. I was on the phone trying to book my COVID shot and my flu shot. I was on hold for a long time. I'm eligible, but I can't get in because everybody is trying to get it right now, which is good because there's a COVID spike. We had Dr. Henry on last week.
Yep.
A lot of people, if you just ask around, oh, I know someone who's got COVID right now, it's not gone.
But one of our good friends and experts, Dr. Anna Wallach, who sent us a DM about watching Dr. Henry's discussion with us last week. And one of the things that Dr. Henry said, that some walk-ins are part of this. So if you have a local pharmacy, call them near the end of the day and say, do you have any leftovers? Because you might be able to get it. There you go. Mm-hmm. There you go.
Can we also say, because we've just come out of the Thanksgiving holiday, and the food bank is just so overwhelmed, and this has been happening for quite a while, but they essentially said that 5 years ago, about 6,000 people a month were using the Greater Vancouver Food Bank. Now we're up to 17,000 a month.
Unbelievable numbers. Remember we went to the Jackson's wine evening at the food bank where we got to see how it all runs and the volunteers that take part there. It is so important that we all remember that we are here to support one another in good times and in bad. And I think when you have a little bit extra, it doesn't take much. Just be thoughtful and mindful of what you're donating. Make it healthy.
Money's actually better for them.
Money, exactly.
Yeah, then they can buy what they need. The other thing
Three times
is,
as much. If it's $1 is $3.
Watch this space. Because we have a housing crisis in Vancouver right across the country. And we know the BC government is about to drop some Airbnb short-term rental rules.
We're
the
ready.
federal government is also talking about doing the same. They're talking about reducing the number of suites that are taken out of the rental pool, but also potentially raising taxes on the revenue that you generate.
I support that.
I do too.
I support that. You're making the money. Tax that.
And
right?
I know you're probably thinking, if you have one, screw you, you know, like
Is that
I
what
need
they're
this
thinking?
to pay my mortgage. And I get it, but you know what? There's a umpteen bazillion taxes that have been put in on empty homes and this and that, and speculation. And you're next. And we need it.
Umpteen bazillion.
Yeah.
I need that on a T-shirt. What else is coming up on the show, Linda
Well, the war in Israel obviously hitting really close to home for so many people here in Metro Vancouver. You're going to meet a Surrey teacher who's really worried about getting her family home safely from the war zone when we come back.